Hey everybody, this is my second live stream. Everyone, how's it going? How are you doing? Man, my glasses are always crooked. But yeah, just wanting to talk about Star Wars for a little bit. Now, what I really wish is that Star Wars TV shows would be more creative. Like for instance, why do we always have to have all of this weird planet hopping like in Star Wars, right? It's like when I first saw like Star Wars for the first time, I was excited. When we were on Tatooine for the very first time, seeing the very first Star Wars movie, I genuinely thought that there was more to Tatooine than meets the eye, right? I thought, well, maybe there are other desert cities. Maybe deep down in the cliffs or something, there are like these little small ocean or maybe mines. So you can mine these diamonds, and the diamonds are like the best fuel for the galaxy, spaceships, right? Or or maybe there was an ancient war between the Jedi and Sith, and Tatooine was a battleground thousands of years ago, and the war destroyed the planet and made it into a desert. It's like I thought that there was more to it. You know what I mean? But the problem with Star Wars movies a lot is that they're just not creative and they're just kind of boring. I mean, because according to Disney, Tatooine really is just a desert planet. I mean, really? I mean, that's it? There's nothing else to this movie series, like at all? Nothing else? I mean, I thought there was something. I mean, what about Camino, right? What if you had this story where the Kaminoans, right? If, like maybe 100 or 200 years ago, before the Phantom Menace, maybe the Kaminoans hire these people to like go to the very bottom of the ocean in Camino and fighting off these sea monsters, go into this fallen civilization and kind of retrieving something to help the Caminos keep cloning. And maybe the Caminos betray those people and use them for cloning experiments because Caminoans are like evil mad scientists who like to experiment on everyone or whatever. And we can kind of see people going down under the deeps of the underwater miles and monsters and like building things up. I mean, that would be kind of interesting. It's like for the most part, I actually did like the Ewoks for the most part. I know my glasses are crooked. I can't fix that, but yeah, I liked the whole arc with C3PO and the Ewoks because I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of interesting. I was just kind of under the impression that the Ewoks kind of brought Endor to life and they just didn't make it just another forest. Now, I really did not enjoy watching Ewoks kick and destroy a whole army of stormtroopers. I was kind of like, okay, that's a little bit of a plot convenience there. But if it were me, and if I were the one who was directing a Star Wars show, I would want to spend more time on a specific planet because on our world there isn't just this planet's a desert planet. This planet is a forest planet. Well, on our planet there's a variety of different civilizations, right? And there are a variety of different climates and places and political environments. And why not explore the lore of this planet, right? Like, here's an idea. How about we tell a Star Wars story, right? About like a separatist planet, like that was in like the Clone Wars, but maybe it was so far away that no one cared about it and everyone forgot about it, like, after the Clone Wars. And so we're entering like Return of the Jedi-ish era, and that separatist planet is still separatist and it's still doing its thing because it's just been completely forgotten and lost to time. And it would be kind of interesting, to explore the world and like kind of add some lore and build into it and to kind of go, yes, there's a separatist planet. Now, what is how do the separatists run this planet? What's the relationship between the separatists and the population? Are like the separatist droids like security? Is everyone happy with it? Are there other factions that like or dislike the separatists, right? That would be interesting. I don't The thing that bugs me is that Disney is trying to interject politics. But the only politics that should be in a Star Wars movie are the politics that are specific to Star Wars. Like, it was kind of interesting to see from early as a Phantom Menace to as late as A New Hope, just seeing how Palpatine manipulated his way into power and just turned everything into an empire. I mean, I think everyone thought that that kind of politics was actually kind of interesting and fun to watch. But what people don't want to see is they don't want to see this weird representation in Disney stuff thrown in there because this is Star Wars. It's supposed to be in a completely different galaxy that is not ours. So Earth is not in this galaxy. And it's supposed to happen a long time ago, far, far away. So why is planet Earth suddenly making a lot of representation things? I mean, if you think about it, in the logic of Star Wars, this doesn't make any sense because there are tons of these different alien species all over the place, right? All of them are kind of having problems. Like, dude, so why care about representation? But but yeah, and what a lot of people don't know is you should really read some of the legend books. Like, a lot of people watched like the Disney Stars. Like, why can't we get a story about the clone troopers and stormtroopers, right? Well, in Legends, there actually was. And here's one of the books I have here. I read most of these books in the library, but I own a few copies myself. This is the Imperial Commando 501st. Starts out as the Republic Commando and it keeps going. I mean, it's a really good read for people who like the. Yes, ice cream winner. Seriously. Are you seriously? Yeah. Shout out to Ice Cream Winner, everybody. He's a brand new YouTuber who really needs some help, right? He needs some love. So yeah, shout out to Ice Cream Winner. Also, Ice Cream Winner, if you see any of my relatives, tell them to not come into my video screen. Thank you. He is an expert at making some Roblox games, and he likes to play different games, and he's new. So yeah, shout out to Ice Cream Winner. Yeah. And so anyway, some of these Star Wars books are really cool. I read like about 20 of these Star Wars books before Force Awakens came out. I'm a big fan. Another great trilogy is the Darth Bane trilogy. I have all three books. Here is like, they're all about the Sith Lord Darth Bane. This is a little bit, this is from Legends, if you're interested, and it is a little bit darker. It's a little bit more toward the darker / horror genre, but Darth Bane is the one who establishes the rule of two. For those of you who don't know, the Sith weren't always one master, one apprentice. There were times when there were Sith temples, like, instead of a Jedi temple, there were a Sith temple, and they ran those completely different than the Jedi Order. And If you want a book where you're all about the Sith temples, there's actually a Star Wars horror novel called Red Harvest for you horror fans. And so give that a check. If you want me to yap about Star Wars and the horror genre as far as Star Wars is concerned, let me know and I will fire up a video about that. I personally am not a big fan of horror, but if you guys really like horror, then I will give that a shot. A great start would be these 3 books. They're really good. And so, yeah, there were also these Sith temples. And what's really weird is the Sith also make these weird holocrons, right? And these holocrons, they're not like random tape recorders. They seem to almost be sentient or alive. Like Darth Bane, the Lord of the Sith, is trying to gather this information from a holocron, and like it has the personality of the Sith Lord who made it, and it's actually roasting him, like sneering at him and mocking him and everything, which is interesting. But what I think would be pretty cool is back to that separatist world in the Return of the Jedi era. I think it would be cool maybe to say that maybe one of those holocrons was left behind on this planet. And it's been there for years. And so maybe 5 or 7 years ish after Anakin completely wiped out the Sith, maybe this holocron was found and some force sensitive people have been getting trained by it and they've established their new mini Sith temple pre Darth Bane. And maybe we could also have like some Jedi, maybe a couple from Legends or a couple fan favorites, and maybe we say they were hiding here since like Order 66 and they're training their Padawan and they're requesting the Separatists permission to start their own little Jedi temple. But I think this could be a potentially cool story because we're on like our own little planet that's separatist, but we've managed to fast forward it to past Return of the Jedi, right? And we're able to kind of like stay in the world, right? Don't go here and then go there and then go there, go there. Let's bring the alien species in the spaceships to the separatist world, and maybe the separatist world isn't just a one world government. Maybe there's like 2 or 3 little mini governments, and let's try to make this world seem big and massive. And let's try to like do a lot of world building, history, maybe throw in some politics. Maybe Count Dooku had a son, and then maybe the son is there, whatever. But I think it could be pretty cool. I feel like a fun side arc would be having like, you know how when you watch like those TV shows, right? You see like the shows about how like they teach you how to make a sword, and it's like, hey, this is how an actual sword is made, and it's like this competition. I think that would be cool to have something similar for lightsabers. Like maybe in this story where we're on this separatist world, maybe like nobody has a lightsaber yet and you have to make the lightsaber, but maybe only people who have been trained in the Force can make lightsabers. So you can't just go to a Walmart to pick up a lightsaber. You can't have a non-trained Force user make a lightsaber. Maybe only Force users are able to make a lightsaber, and maybe have all of these really advanced like Jedi and Sith. Maybe they're trying to go into the art of lightsaber making, and maybe the Sith are making really dangerous lightsabers, where Jedi are making more reliable lightsabers. And maybe it takes like the entire show to successfully have everyone craft a lightsaber, right? And we get our first lightsaber duel. Like, you know, wouldn't that be kind of cool to kind of explore the art of lightsaber making? Because whenever a Jedi or a Sith seem to like make a lightsaber, it seems to be a key element in their journey, and it's like a sign that they've grown. And I feel like what would be really kind of cool, you know, is if it took a really long time for them to make a lightsaber, and we saw like this is version A and it blows up, and this is version B, and we just kind of explored like how do you actually make a lightsaber? That way, when we finally did ultimately get to like our lightsaber showdown, lightsabers would kind of seem more special in a way. Like, they're not just laser swords, they're not just laser sticks, they're like a work of art, and you need the force to kind of be able to make them, right? Now, pre Disney, I've always kind of thought that the Jedi and Sith were two completely different things and not on the side, not two sides of the same coin, but two completely different things. And I feel like what we could really have is if we had like a little mini Sith temple and then like a little mini Jedi temple, we could have like these arcs where we have like this moral situation come in, and then we're able to explore the Jedi. Like, yes, the Sith are bad, but why are the Sith bad? Add some depth to that. And yes, the Jedi are good, but why are the Jedi good? And let's add some depth to that. And maybe kind of steal something from that Batman movie, Under the Red Hood, and we just throw a moral situation. The Sith will take one side, the Jedi will take another, and then we can just kind of see how that plays out. I feel like that could be really, really interesting, having like the Jedi take one side on these circumstances, the Sith take another, and just kind of explore, like what makes Sith Sith? What makes Sith like kind of evil? Maybe have Sith, maybe see some Sith training at their little Sith temple, learning how to get lightning. Maybe have a thing where maybe a Jedi is captured by the Sith and they turn into a Sith, and then maybe you have like a Sith get captured by a Jedi and they become a Jedi, really explore this world, and explore the characters. And like, I like that side arc where like you're spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to make lightsabers. And maybe since we're on a separatist planet, maybe the separatists want to find a way to mass produce these lightsabers into their robots, but you can't mass produce it because you need like the Jedi and a lightsaber. And it's like, wouldn't that be cool, kind of, to just kind of be with your characters and just seeing them kind of trying to create a lightsaber? And maybe it's this really long process. I mean, if it took like a couple of years to successfully make one lightsaber, then when you go back and rewatch all the movies, wouldn't that kind of change how you view everything? When someone drops a lightsaber, you wouldn't be, oh, well, they lost a lightsaber. You'd be like, I can't believe you dropped that. But yeah, some of my biggest complaints is that one, we're always planet hopping. Let's not planet hop because, let's stay on a planet in Star Wars and just explore the lore, the background, the world that and everything in it, and the politics in the world, and like create characters. Like, I don't know, maybe Count Dooku had a son. I don't know. Just an idea out there. And maybe like bring some Legends books back into the fold. Like, if you are a horror fan, you would probably like the Legends book Red Harvest. And yeah, the Darth Bane trilogy is a really interesting read if you want to learn more about the Rule of Two. So Legends has some pretty interesting content, and I really would like to recommend Legends. But also, if we're having like a Star Wars show, it's like, please, no breaking the fourth wall. The only politics that we should see in Star Wars is politics that are in the world of Star Wars, like Emperor Palpatine trying to conquer the world, or should clones have in clone troopers have their own rights, or should they be slaves to the Kaminoans, or should the Kaminoans be experimenting on everybody, or can droids become alive? Droids have feelings. It's like, let's stick with the politics that are in the world. Let's not take like extreme left or extreme right in politics from the world and just throw them in. It's like, let's just enjoy a story and let's explore the Jedi and their ideologies and see when they come across moral situations how they act. And how do the Jedi and the Separatists act toward each other? How do the Jedi and the Sith act toward each other? Maybe build up this conflict where we have this final showdown. What makes the Sith evil? Explore the Sith training. Maybe like I feel like this could be a potentially cool Star Wars story, and I would call it The Separatists. And it's like you just need a little bit of creativity, you know? It's like you just need a little creativity. I mean, Kim and Owens are like these pretty awful mad scientists that experiment and they do all this weird stuff. You could easily get like a horror video game out of that. I was like, ugh. But yeah, and it's like Grand Admiral Thrawn was actually originally from Legends, but they brought him from Legends and then they made him canon. It's like, why do we gotta have all of this weird stuff? Why can't we just have a good Star Wars story? What I would really hope that people do is there were some people who liked Harry Potter so much. And you know what they did with Harry Potter? They made a short film, and it's a fan-made film. It's not like official or canon or anything, but it was really fun to watch. And let me see if I can find it here. I'm gonna look up this. Okay, so let me share screen. So, does everybody see what I'm seeing? I hope so. I'll enter it again just in case. Cool. So everyone should be seeing what I'm seeing. But yeah, Severus Snape and the Marauders. This was a fan film that was made about like Harry Potter and the different Harry Potter characters that were there because people really liked Harry Potter and they wanted to cover an era that was not covered in the movies and books. And they did a good job. They did a good job with the story and they did a good job with the film and they just did a really good job. So my question is, why can't we do the same for Star Wars, right? Why can't we make our own little Star Wars fan film or our own little Star Wars TV show? It's like, you know what another thing that's interesting? It's like there's also there's like glitch. Let me show you this. It's like these people make their own shows and then they put it on YouTube and then they have like merch and stuff, right? They don't go to Disney or wherever. They just make their own TV shows and stuff. So it's like if we're all tired of Disney screwing up stuff, right? With Star Wars, then why not make our own fan-made TV shows? And why not make our own fan-made films, right? If it's fan-made and if it's for fans and if it's not canon, right? Then why can't we make our own Star Wars content and enjoy it, right? It's like kind of like that. And I would like to see more people do that. And that'd be really cool. It's like, I'm telling you, I am not a fan of horror stuff by any means, but there are some areas where there are some potential. Really consider reading these Star Wars novels, and I think that would make a good show. Like let's explore like the lightsabers. Like maybe it's really hard to make a lightsaber. It takes 3 seasons to make a lightsaber, and then you have your one and only lightsaber fight. But it's really cool and epic, right? And yeah, let's have some moral dilemmas and let's explore why the Jedi are good and why the Sith are bad and how they interact and they both react to different morality situations. We can see how the Sith temple contrasts with the Jedi temple, and that would be really cool. Please, please, no more Mary Sues, okay? No more Mary Sues. No more weird feminist politics. It's like Star Wars is here to tell a story. A lot of people are like, oh, Star Wars is boring. Star Wars is boring. Well, the problem isn't Star Wars. The problem is Disney. Because you see, Star Wars is this vast universe, and people have been making fan fiction about it for like decades. And it's like you can tell all kinds of cool stories if you're creative enough. I mean, what if we took the Red Harvest horror book from Star Wars and man, you made that canon and you turned it into a movie because it's all about a Sith temple. It's like, does anyone want to see what the rule of what the Sith were like when they had Sith temples before the rule of two, right? And how that differs from like the Jedi temples. Does anyone want to see the Sith Empire? Because there was a Sith Empire, but it fell, right? Does anyone want to see that? No, we just want to see Rey Skywalker. Yeah, okay, I guess it's like, yeah, okay. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you for watching, but yeah, I would really recommend give some of these Legends books a chance, because when I read these, Force Awakens hadn't come out yet, so these were still canon at the time. But even if they're not technically canon anymore, they're still pretty cool. So yeah, give them a shot, give them a chance. Maybe you, the fan, can make your own fan film of Star Wars, and maybe I'll react to it or watch it or something. But wouldn't that be cool to just have like a little group of separatist worlds that were like part of the separatists, but they weren't really, everyone just forgot about them. And so now in Return of the Jedi, we have like a few of these separatist worlds but let's explore the worlds. Like, is Coruscant just a bunch of buildings, or is there more to Coruscant than that? It's like, what if the reason Jabba the Hutt's really on Tatooine, it's to mine these little minor things, right? Like these little diamonds and gems to use it for fuel. It's like, what if there's all this super duper advanced tech at the bottom of the Kaminoan Ocean? And what if on Kamino, the tallest Mount Everest of Kamino is 50 miles below sea level and it's 50 degrees below zero, and these people have to dive down and repair these little Kamino Islands, and they got to sail all the way to the deepest valley on Kamino, retrieve something, and bring it back up to the Kaminoans and explore the oceans. It's like, it's like, come on, people, let's be creative here. And, Acolyte, trash. I am not watching that. I am not watching that, and I hope you don't either. But yeah, that's all I have to say today. But shout out to Ice Cream Winner. Yeah, give him. He's a new YouTuber, so yeah, show up in the comments. Give him some advice on how he can be the best YouTuber in the whole universe, and yeah, show him some kindness. And yeah, thank you, and that's all I got for you today, guys. Professor Sassafras signing out.